I think, well, we really took yesterday off, so I don't know that they feel that way, but we did some recovery, and then we went to the movie. And so, I think we did kind of some team building that way, and then came back and probably in some ways had a hard film session, really diving in to some of the things we need to be better at to pull out games like that. But then, we had one of our better practices of the year. I mean, I think we're heading in the right direction, to be honest. I mean, I'm not sure that results always show in the midst of that. I think it takes time to keep getting better, but these guys know everyone. They're going to get everybody's best shot. It's not. We have to go in and win games. People aren't going to be afraid. They're going to look at it as an opportunity, and everyone's going to play with. You know, I think Oklahoma's played this way all year, but I think everyone's going to play with a like a freeness that comes with being the underdog, and feeling like regardless of our record, it's still toppling Baylor, to come in, and whether it's in their home gym or here. So, we know we've got to take everybody's best shot.
What was it like just to kind of take a deep breath in that way?
We watched 355. It's like a all women's type movie. It was really inspiring. Like, we can do whatever we want and still be on top. And I think that relates to our team. We just got to come together, and I think the movie really helped look at a different perspective. Like Coach Nikki said, practice has been really well. I've seen people smile more and have more fun and cheer more people on. And, our locker room talks, everyone's laughing and playing again. And I think that, us coming off the COVID stuff, that, we got a breath of fresh air, and we're ready to play.
Nikki, you referenced sometimes you just got to get over the hump.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously a win, but how do you get over that hump?
I think you get over it by understanding that when you get up 8, you need to get up 10. When you get up 10, you need to get up 12. I mean, we controlled tempo most of that game, and, we made some mistakes. I mean, I think people are going to challenge that our defense wasn't great, but this kid guarded the heck out of Taylor Robertson, and she just every time she got to see the rim, it went in. So they made shots. I mean, not all of those were uncontested. We're not where we're supposed to be type of plays. And so, I think for us, it's not taking possessions for granted. It's getting up 8 and not turning the basketball over. It's realizing what got you the 8-point lead and continuing to defend. I mean, it's defend and rebound in those situations. And, when we turn the ball over in live ball situations, it puts a lot of pressure on your D. And so we've got to take care of the basketball. We've got to take care of the basketball. I think the rest will take care of itself if we just take care of the basketball. We're going to get good shots. We're going to make shots. Our game plans are going to be good. And so we can't have live ball turnovers.
When you look at the rest of the league, I mean, there's only one undefeated team left. Y'all are still right in the middle of it, even though you're 0-2. Is there any sense of relief or confidence that it brings just to know that even though you've gotten out to a slow start, the door's still open?
Yeah, I mean, and we've played 2 games. I know because of COVID, if we were 0-4, it might feel a little different. But I think knowing that both of those games were winnable for us, you look at what Kansas State did to Iowa State for 38 minutes, and when they got to the last minute, they were exactly where we were at. It was a 4-point game. Kansas State, Iowa State called a timeout, and they had a kid step up and hit her first 3 of the season, and then they bank a 3 to win the game. And so, anyone can win in this league, and really Iowa State, I mean, they gave up 38 points to Lee. I'm sure a lot of people are like, wow, Baylor gave her 32. I mean, the plan was we were going to guard her hard, but single her up and let other people, and not let them get off from the arc, and not let other people that we knew we were better than position by position hurt us, because you're sending too many people at her. So it just proved that game plan can work. We didn't make enough shots in that game. Where Iowa State went 6 for 7 in the fourth quarter from 3. To have to come back and win that game. So. I do. I think it's still wide open. Obviously, Iowa State's put themselves in the driver's seat right now with big wins at K-State, but I don't. We just got to take care of one game at a time. I mean, I don't think as much as our goal is always going to be conference championships. Right now, it has to be beat Kansas. Period. We don't. Why do we care what happens if we don't win that game? And so I think that has to be our focus. We've got to beat Kansas, and then we've got to beat Oklahoma State, and that's how we have to look at it. We got to get better each game, and we got to take the opponent in front of us, and then you know what? Then we control our own destiny when we play the Iowa States and Kansas State again.
Doesn't look like it's any of a let up again going to Kansas because they're coming off a win over Texas, right?
Yeah. I mean, that's just the nature of basketball. I think it's good for our league. Not suggesting it's good for Baylor, but it's certainly good for our league because, Kansas has had seasons where they've been really good in the non-conference and then got into conference play and been overmatched. But, they led Oklahoma for 36 minutes and, then went and won on the road, back-to-back games at TCU and Texas and had to stay on the road that whole stretch. And so, when you're road warriors, you get confidence, and I think they've had other seasons where they've had good non-conference. They get into conference play, kind of lose a couple and get on that losing streak and lose that. So absolutely, they're gonna play with confidence, and they've been. You don't get wowed by them because they don't necessarily have anyone that you're just like, oh, well, we can't guard her, or she's got this, or she's got that. They're really balanced, and they've been playing great defense all season. They've consistently defended regardless of opponent, regardless of win or loss. And so, they play good man-to-man defense, but, they threw some zone at Texas. So we have to anticipate, because we've seen a lot of zone this season, that they may zone us. And so we got to be prepared for both, even though going into this game they've played zone about 7% of the time. We may get a little more of that. Valuing the basketball, valuing possessions offensively and defensively. I mean, part of our goal today, and Jamie could attest to this, like we put a score on almost every possession, or hey, we're gonna have 3 possessions and we're up 2 right now, or down 2. We have to have a stop here. We just tried to make every possession matter. Hey, we have to get a stop here. We absolutely have to get a stop here. If we don't get a stop, we do 5 push-ups, we do 5 crunches. If we do get a stop, we're celebrating, we're tapping it up, we're celebrating with one another, like just really getting them to understand and not take possessions for granted, whether that's offensively or defensively, that we have to value the basketball on offense, that we have to get good shots on goal, and that defensively, we can't take plays off. We can't run back 80% of the time, but not 20% of the time. Like that's how you win.
Jamie, do you feel like you guys are trying to get over the hump confidence-wise on the offensive end?
I think we're pretty confident. We just got to knock down shots, and all you got to do is really encourage your teammate, and she'll knock it down every time. I don't think that we need anyone in our face yelling at us. I think it all comes from just shooting the ball well and, just encouraging each other, really.
Jamie, do you feel like y'all are kind of back in a rhythm now after all of that COVID disruption?
Yeah, I think we're back in action.
Jamie, you crossed the 1,000-point plateau at Oklahoma. How much did that mean to you? And in the game, did you feel that, or were you focused so much on defense? Did it register with you?
I actually forgot because I was so focused on defense. If you go back and watch the game, I was sprinting up and down trying to catch her from one side, and I just completely forgot about my accomplishment. And it's special to me, but my family really wasn't able to make it because my little sister has COVID right now. So my grandma got to witness it, but they congratulated me after the game, so it's all good.
Coach Dickey really praised your defense against Robertson. And I'm curious, what aspects, as you evaluate your own defensive game, what stands out to you? What do you think are your strengths, and what are some areas you want to get better as the year goes
I think my strengths really is not really getting hit with screens. I know I kind of got hit with some in Oklahoma. We might have to replay those. But one of my weaknesses is my help defense. Like, I'm good with my man, but I need to help my teammates more. You know, I need to be in the gap more, have the V-back, which is, you know, helping the helper, really. So being a helper is my biggest weakness right now.
How tired were you after that?
I would admit that I've done that 3 years in a row, so I kind of like have my energy saved up to be able to do that. I was pretty tired,
You
but
faced Taylor before. I mean,
Yeah.
you were the one guarding her.
yes, we're in the same grade, so you know, and plus I played against her in AAU, so I already knew how she played.
She never stops, does she?
No, she never stops moving, and I never stop getting screened.
Jamie, do you? I know you haven't been here, but do you feel a pressure here, being at Baylor, knowing the standard, that kind of thing? Do you feel that pressure?
Well, when you start feeling pressure, you don't start doing what you're supposed to do. So I never really get riled up with things. I don't pay attention to the media. I don't pay attention to what people say. I kind of just do my thing, you know, because I also have, you know, people from the other side saying like, "Oh, you should have never went there." You know what I'm saying? So I'm really good at blocking out the noise and let someone say it to my face. And no one's ever done that. So, you know, I really don't feel the pressure. I do want to be able to be, you know, in the history books, like Baylor this, Baylor that, on the more positive side. But the negative side, I can easily cancel it out.
Well said. Seriously, that's a tough question to ask. It's a tough question to answer, you know, and it's hard to block the noise out. You know, I told the team today, like, you know, if I could not be on Twitter or not be on Instagram, it'd probably be better for my health. You know, but the nature of being a coach and it's the recruiting side. Like, I can't not be engaged on Twitter and Instagram because of recruiting. And so, you know, you get tagged in posts. And you have to understand that 99.9% of the people that comment don't know half of what goes on, let alone like 1% of what goes on in our practice gym every day, or in the locker room, or on the court, or, you know, but it's hard to block out the noise, you know. I'm sure it's hard for these guys, you know. I mean, part of the great part about Baylor has been the support for women's basketball here. And so that can be a challenge without question.
You have pretty thick skin.
It's funny. I'm yes and no. You know, the only people I care about and what they think are Mac and this team. You know, Mac and the staff. You know, anyone that surrounds our team, that's who matters. But it's not easy. I think anyone who says it's easy or they don't know what's going on is flat lying. Like, it's just, you know, because when you coach, there's an internal pressure anyway. There's an internal set of expectations and goals and, you know, wanting, you know, for me, it's about, I said this after the game, like, we had, while short and not full length because of coming back from COVID, we had 3 of our best practices going into Oklahoma, and we weren't full strength at all of them. But I wanted it for these guys because they had turned a corner, you know, just as far as how to be encouraging and how to play for one another. And so the disappointment was simply that sometimes it takes time for those things to manifest in a win. You know, but if they keep at it, there's going to be a lot of people that want to jump on the bandwagon later. You know, and I'm not someone who says like, hey, if you weren't, you know, riding for us now, you can't ride for us later. Like, look, the bus will always have room for fans, you know. I guess I would just ask people to think about, you know, the fact that these guys are 18 to 22 years old. I signed up for this, you know. I get paid well, and so I can handle the criticism because, once again, I care what Mac thinks and I care what these players think, and I'm always going to have their back. But, I would ask fans to understand that, like, these guys are 18 to 22-year-olds and love to play basketball. And so, I would say that for the men's team, too. Like, I just think, what do we teach our players? Like, maybe think before you tweet sometimes, and so, I hurt more for them than I hurt for myself when I read negative comments.
Is there anything that Kansas does that you need to take away, or you said they were balanced, but what is
Yeah. I mean, I think the thing about Kansas is, we're going to have to work to score. They do a good job defensively. They've got the shot. They've got Jackson inside, who's a good shot blocker and provides rim protection. They've got guards who do a good job getting through screens. And, I think with them, it's just, do you give them one shot? Do you make them take jump shots, and you take away the arc and take away layups, and, make them make a lot of jump shots and keep them to one shot. I mean, they play a lot of players. So, I think everything they do, we've faced. But they're a good execution team, and Brandon does a great job. He's got a lot of really good sets, that they'll add wrinkles to things. And so it's going to take a high level of communication. Like, I know they haven't won at a high level consistently since he's been there, but ultimately, like, he's a good coach. They run really good stuff. They set good screens, and so I think their confidence and execution is really good. And so we're just gonna have to compete. Like, I think they compete. I think they compete on every possession. I think they guard you hard, and they're gonna run their stuff. They're really gonna run their stuff.